Yeah. Hang on, like that.
Police report's almost comical.
It is, really.
Here, you want to
Building caves in. Somebody calls the cops. Comes over. Guy comes out. Don't worry about it. I got everything under control.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm not covering anything up. Just get the hell out of here. I got it under control.
Cops, well, hey, from the city, it's okay. I'm one of you.
Well, it's Monday, and it's Talking Racine coming your way. Mr. Monday himself, George Myers.
Good Monday morning.
The producer, Mr. Jim Spodek. And I'm your host, Dr. Jorgen. Oh, man, we got an interesting one for you here today. You're going to enjoy this. You're going to wonder about it. You're going to go, what the hell? And we're going to start out with a clip. Go ahead and show them the clip.
This is Machinery Row, the day of the collapse, which was May 31st, 2018.
Moments after the collapse.
After the collapse of the building on Machinery Row, 900 Water Street. So this would have been roughly about 5 o'clock, a little bit after 5 o'clock, May 31st. It's a little grainy, but we did pick it up.
It's done on a cell phone, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to happen?
This just happened right in front of us.
Roof
It
caved
all
in.
caved in,
2 bays.
and
I knew.
there's a guy sitting in that truck right there. We hope nobody was in the building. Crazy.
Unexpected cave in.
Okay, we'll come back.
Well, that was interesting. You
Yep.
know,
Now, you said there was a little truck in there?
Yeah.
yeah, that whole
Right.
area is fenced off. Cyclone fence, locked up. It's,
Right.
You never see anybody down there.
No, you can't get in. You can't get in there.
But there just happened to be a truck on the property when the roof collapsed. And these people caught, right after the roof collapsed, they happened to be sitting across the river and got a tape of it and called the police.
And out pulls this little truck up, and then call the police, right? The little
Well,
truck comes going.
no, the truck was there. The
Yeah, that's
truck
what I
was
mean.
there when it
It pulled
collapsed.
out, and then, yeah, they
So
got
the-
it in the video, obviously.
So the
Yeah, I think the state's in the video. There's a guy sitting in the truck. You know, okay, well,
Yeah.
who are you? You know, what are you doing there?
What were you doing down there? Just
The mystery of Machinery Row.
As the roof fell down.
This should be a Netflix special.
Yeah, and-
Machinery Row.
Well, that definitely lends urgency to the need to tear these buildings down.
absolutely.
You know.
We got to get rid of them. They're a danger
Yeah.
to the system.
Well, I like the comments here.
Well, this is from, it's a police report, yeah.
Yeah, the dispatcher. One truck back there. There's somebody back there. Then, okay, no one inside. Out talking to someone from the city. One of the guys on the scene with the city engineer department and has it handled.
As it handled.
No names.
Yeah. That's an
United City
in-depth
truck.
police
That's all
report.
right. Everything's under control.
Yeah,
We got
it just collapsed. This huge building has just collapsed.
Moments,
happened to be there.
moments before the police arrived, that's all right, I got it taken care of. Nothing to look at. Unbelievable.
That's beautiful.
Well, make up your own
Yeah.
mind
Yeah.
about this one. Oh my God. Okay. What's our next item, Jim? We got a full schedule tonight, and I
yeah, we
believe the
do.
next item is
Communicator, huh?
a hiring that
Yes.
took place recently
Right.
by the RCEDC.
Correct. If you go back far enough, I think it was episode 68, we actually talked about the $925,000 that was allocated out of the intergovernmental funds to for job training, $125,000 to attorney fees, $275,000 to REEDC for, I guess, administration
Stuff.
stuff.
Well, it says
Yeah,
the
they had
money's
to do some
allocated
stuff.
for RCDC, $275,000. That was
Yeah,
part of the
right.
$900,000. A portion was used to hire an assistant for Mayor Corey Mason, who was a close friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Right.
nice.
So they basically
Was that
took-
put out for bids?
it was nothing in the city. So what happened? And we had gotten a couple of calls from people that said, this was a little bit of a hiring of a friend, really.
Somebody had some questions.
There were some questions
Yeah.
out there. How is it that the $925,000 $25,000 that was allocated, $275 for
RCEDC.
There was a hiring done. A friend of Corey Mason's, and obviously did a little check-in. Definitely an acquaintance, and hiring was done by RCEDC.
Yeah.
And
Now
then
that
pitched back.
itself is unusual because
Yeah.
you would think the city would hire somebody who's going to work for Corey Mason.
Oh, wait a minute. He's working for the RCEDC initially until December.
Right, I understand that, but the $275,000 is going to RCEDC for
Right.
their expenditure,
Mhm.
and some of that RCEDC is using to hire an assistant for the mayor.
Correct. And in the job description, it says,
Now that's very unusual. County's hiring somebody to assist the mayor.
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the crap. And then, of course, the council never looks.
Hey, buildings
I mean,
fall
and
down,
this-
people need jobs, you know?
This is gorgeous. And the $275,000, this is job creation.
Well, they created a
The
job.
overall thing, $925,000.
This was for getting.
There's a connection. Yeah, it creates a job.
Yeah, it creates
Yeah.
a job for somebody we
Yeah.
want.
Folks need work, like I
Yeah,
said.
yeah, we're going to create this Foxconn jobs for the people that are going to be, employed from the city of Racine. It just so happens, well, he's in the city of Racine, and we need an assistant. But the tricky part here is that he is going to be employed till the 1st of January by RCEDC. I said that wrong. But at that time, then he transfers to the city of Racine as an assistant to the city of Racine Mayor Corey Mason.
Just
So
folded right in there.
yeah, and nobody knows anything. He just pops up, and there he is.
Well, it's a good way to get around the.
I mean, what does he do for?
the surveillance of the council?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And this is one I
Don't
give
have
the
to worry about
council.
interviews with the council,
Right.
going through a bunch of rigmarole. You
No
know, those,
posting in
some
the
of those
city
council
website.
members
Some
are.
people
They want to
ask
look at
questions
stuff like
down
that and
there.
ask questions, things
Yeah.
about.
Well, they don't
There's
do
no
that
need to
anyway,
ask
but that's
questions.
all right. But I will give the council a break on this one and said he really did slip one past you this time. I mean, you really did not know what you were voting on, but so be it. Like, what are you going to do anyway? You don't do anything about Machinery Row. You don't do anything about anything. So what? This isn't a problem.
Well, it's interesting. It comes with some nice benefits.
Oh, it's a
Health
nice job.
insurance, dental insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, vision insurance, paid holidays, 401k plan, flexible spending accounts, that's dependent in medical, additional leave time as accrued.
Well, I think that's a nice
Oh,
thing.
there's
for
even
ma-
some more
I
in
think
there.
that's a nice thing for the mayor to do.
Paid
do it
time
for
off.
a friend,
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean,
Position is full-time.
what's wrong with that?
Here's my question: is what are you doing for RCEDC until January 1st? I mean, how many pencils can they sharpen over there? You know what I mean? I mean, really, what are you going to do over there?
Well,
I mean, it's 3-4 months.
$275,000 does cover a couple of pencils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just another one that.
All
know.
the things that go on.
Yeah, it
It's-
just
it's-
makes
it's
you go,
just
what?
marvelous.
What?
This is, yeah.
How do I get to be friends with the mayor? I mean, what do you... I thought he and I were kind of
I'm sure he watches. It.
cordial.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to write nice things on your wife's Facebook page.
Right.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so,
Oh boy,
Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got a final item here, which is 441 Lake Avenue.
Right. I'm going to throw it up on. I'll throw it up on the screen.
Well, that was
That's
interesting.
a Johnson drive-through.
Yeah, Johnson Bank Drive
I,
through down there on
I
Lake
use
Avenue,
that frequently.
Fifth and Lake. You do.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of like the corner of what used to be the festival grounds, which is now Palpy Harris Park. It's sort of like
That makes sense.
a corner of it. I don't understand why the heck that.
It's right there's a
It's
street
right
that goes
there
right down the
anyway.
hill there, and then
Yeah.
it's right there
Okay.
on
Well,
Lake
it
Avenue.
was built in 2001 as a drive-through ATM banking extra for the bank that's obviously in the Johnson Building. They want to now give it to the city of Racine. Giving means
For a
gonna
price.
up to $100,000. So
Yeah.
it's going to be I'm sure it'll come in at fairly close to that $100,000.
Well, what are we going to do with it, though? When we buy this thing, what are we going to do with it?
Well, the city wants it. Now, they've cut an agreement with the city, and they have approved the fact that they can move forward with the purchase offer.
Yeah, but what are we
with
going to
Johnson.
do with it?
That's a good question.
Well, I
Let's just-
was hoping you'd come up with the answer. The answer is we're going to rent it back to S.C. Johnson
Well, yeah.
for $10,000 a year.
All right, let's just go through the numbers a little bit.
All right.
Johnson currently pays roughly $18,000, just shy of $18,000 a year in taxes on that property. So the city is collecting roughly $18,000 a year in taxes. Now, Johnson has an older structure. It's obviously it's a surface, so there's some leakage. I read the structural report. It's in fairly decent condition, but it's aged and it's going to continue to deteriorate, and those are a little bit costly. Johnson said, listen, we'll give that to you, to the city.
For $100,000.
For $100,000. We will pay you 10% of the purchase price that the city, roughly at $100,000, so that'd be $10,000 a year. Divide that by 12, it's about $830 a month, roughly. We will keep our ATM machine on the property, and we'll be able to use that. Now,
So we give them $100,000.
right?
Then they give us $10,000 a year, and we forego the almost $18,000 a year in taxes.
Plus, we have to maintain it.
Well, this sounds like a good deal.
Oh, I jump on it.
Yeah,
I jump
yeah.
on it. Now, and here's the other thing: they want a deed restriction, meaning they can't put signage of other banking. They have control over how that's signage is on the property, because obviously you don't want check and go moving in over there.
Yeah, just kitty corner from the bank.
Right. So they want to be able to control that.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
of course,
reasonable.
the $100,000 it's a great deal because it's in the intergovernmental fund.
Is it intergovernmental fund buying it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the RDA is going to buy it. I mean, it's just they're going to they have to stockpile some more property, more crap property.
But any ongoing maintenance, we're responsible
Absolutely.
for.
Absolutely.
And how much maintenance do you think there's going to be?
There's going to be a lot. I mean, you're
on a
on the-
parking structure that's basically half as old as it's going to ever be.
Correct.
It's been there for 17 years, and these things have got a life of about 30.
Yeah.
So we're
No,
at least at the
I can
halfway
see
point.
Johnson's whack. I can see them, doing this for financial reasons. It saves them a couple bucks. The thing I don't like about it is taking advantage of that RDA. Those are some very stupid people over there.
Yeah. I got to agree with you there.
I mean, that's not fair.
Yeah, you
put
are.
Your, put your lawyers against the people. Amy Conley and company. That's like taking candy from a baby.
It's kind of a cruel abuse of intellectual advantage.
At least Johnson should deal with the alderman. You raise it up a
Maybe.
level, make
Yeah,
a little
maybe.
bit more of
I
a
don't
gain.
know.
You put 15 people in the room, one of them might ask a question.
Well, the one thing was that we can rent that for parking. I mean, who's parking there? I mean, who's parking there now? I mean,
Well,
it's just,
exactly, and it was like, there could be probably. I looked at it, and you're not going to get more than 30 parking spaces in there because of the way parking spaces are.
And I didn't
designed.
read it thoroughly, but I'm sure there's some access points that you have to get into that ATM
Well, yeah.
machine.
Now there could be as
So-
many as 40, but the ATM machine is going to take
Right.
up a part of it. So there's probably a maximum of like 30
It's a
spaces.
bad deal. It's not even close to anything good. It's a
Yeah.
bad
One
deal.
that you would expect Amy Conley and company to get into.
Grab it. We can't let this one get past
On
us.
our behalf. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of money sitting around in that RDA or that
Well, actually,
intergovernmental fund.
I don't know if it's one of these. It talks about the RDA money, where there's some money left over from the arena that didn't go through. It's $2.5 million was somewhere allocated. It said it in your summary.
Oh, that's just
Well, there's-
No,
Yeah, it's
there's
just-
not money sitting around
It's gathering
unspent.
dust.
Actually, just
Yeah.
sitting
So
there.
we got some money. I mean, once you read this, you sit back and you say, let's just go one step further. What is Johnson going to do with this property? If say, I mean, who's it going to sell it to? I want to get rid of this property. It's kind of a burden. It's getting older. There's some problems with it. We're not getting the revenue out of it like we had hoped over the period of time. Who are they going to get rid of it? They aren't going to
Yeah.
sell it to another bank. They sure as hell ain't giving it to
I
Chicken
say
Go.
just let them keep it now.
What, put a chicken spot in there, sell fried chicken? I mean, what are you going to do with that? They're going to have to give it to the
Oh,
city.
you said Chicken Go. I thought you said Check and Go before.
Well, it is both. Chicken Go, Check and Go. You can make it into anything. What if you got a little hamburger place in there, I mean, what are you really going to do with that spot? It's got no value.
The argument that the city administrator brought forth was that could be used for development. There could be some projects where that would be useful.
Well, that's the
But you
scary
know
part.
what? I mean,
How about a
haven't we
mini
been
arena?
Wait a minute. Haven't we just talked about eminent domain and how eminent domain is available to a municipality
Yeah.
if it's for a public project? So if that property is actually needed for
Right.
a public project,
Just grab it.
you just take it.
Right.
I mean, I'm not an advocate of that, but I mean, in this situation, why
at
is
least
it
it's
important?
legal,
Why
you
is
know.
it important to buy it now when we don't need it and lose money on the
You
process?
know, we didn't break down the actual numbers of what would be the loss to the city, but it's fairly substantial. I mean, you know.
well,
you're
any
only talking-
loss doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have all this extra money. I just don't understand their mentality on this. It just doesn't make
Well,
sense. We've been
there's
stockpiling this money. They're
There's
stockpiling these properties.
There's this thing about the RDA. They're trying to accumulate property. You notice that they're
Why?
buying.
Yeah.
Well, who cares why? It's because it's cool to own property. I mean,
if it produces nothing-
you're looking for something that makes
Well,
sense,
that's
Jim. That's your
reason enough.
problem. And you're dealing with a government entity.
That's one of my favorite lines. You're trying to make sense of this. It's never going to happen.
Don't try and do that when it comes to government, particularly the subcommittees and the things that go on in government subcommittees and sub-subcommittees and all that type of stuff are just absolutely ridiculous. And you're facing that with the RDA. Look at what I mean. They've got this laundry list of failed projects, and they're trying to buy. Now they're trying to buy what? How many homes was it?
Well,
all those
20
homes
at
we talked
least.
about?
They were going to take back 200, and then somebody the
Yeah,
other day
that's what I
said
thought,
it
it
could
was a
be.
couple
Well, somebody said it could be as many as 2,000. Who said that?
Yeah,
Well, there's 2,000 that could be taken back for delinquent taxes, but that's maybe a bit of a stretch. But I mean, there are 200,
Yeah.
and I know there's 20
Yeah,
roughly.
And they haven't got close to the money
No.
to do that. They're going to have to borrow money to do that, and it's just
There's
it's just
so
the
many
way
things.
government works.
But this government
Crazy.
seems to be way out of whack. I mean, I know that things go on in government that are not, the smartest moves. But, I mean, where's the advice from anybody on the other side? I mean, Johnson puts this proposal forward. It's Johnson's proposal. George, I'm going to buy your property. I'm going to write the damn thing up the way I think is great for me. Give it to you, George, and you just look at it and say, well, let me have somebody else look at it. It's great, George. We don't even know what you're looking at, but you're agreeing to it. Nobody comes back and says, hey, we should really go through this lease and see if this is beneficial to us, because we're the ones that are going to have to maintain it. We're the ones that are going to have to deal with this for the next long period of time. Nobody thinks twice about it.
No.
How
they
does
don't
this
think
happen?
that
I mean,
way.
how do you...
Well, you know what the real problem is? It's a perception problem on the part of the three of us. We should be looking on this as a potential advantage. We should be submitting a proposal to the city to fund this program. Why are we doing this for free? We could, they got money laying around apparently.
Yeah, we could. We should be. We should be consulting.
There's too many,
If
there's
you're
too
out
many
there and-
examples like that.
I think you should write in and tell the city that they ought to be funding this program with no strings attached.
I mean, that's how we got into KRM. That's how we got into the arena. Somebody shows something on a screen and says, "Look at this! How nice this is."
We got a screen right
Oh,
here.
let's spend millions of dollars on it then. It's people that
makes
it's
no
your classic
economic
grasping for straws.
Yeah.
In other words, the council has no answers. No one got any.
Right.
At least no one in government has an
rudderless
answer.
ship.
So
Yeah.
they're just grabbing for something, and here's another. Here's a very nice building right there on 4th Avenue. It's a nice little thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Lake Avenue.
Avenue,
It's
yeah.
at 441 Lake Avenue.
We might use that someday.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
This
But here's the thing.
could be the springboard for a whole new city.
By the time it's used, I wonder how much money we will have spent just on having it.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, honestly, Johnson's a weak seller. I mean, they can say, "Oh, we can build something there. We can do all this." They know that thing is somewhat of a white elephant, and
Yeah.
they're going to have to deal with that thing. at some
Johnson
point.
is smart.
Yeah, I was going to dump it. We'll dump our problem
Johnson
on you.
is a
I don't blame him.
multi-billion,
Yeah.
Worldwide company. These
Right.
guys,
And they people,
and
they pay
that's
people
why I
to
say
sit
they're
around full
picking. You're
time.
picking on that little stupid RDA over there. Have you ever watched them? Only about half of them are awake. They look like they got any sense at all. It's just not
Yeah, it is
fair.
cruel. It is
That's
cruel.
Well, I think we should probably close out before we start developing an image as grouchy old men. We don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
So, having said that, do you have anything additional that you want to say before we say goodbye and have a nice
Don't
day?
I'm not a grouchy old man.
Yeah, don't buy it. Don't buy that property. I'm going to tell you right now. Stop.
Yeah.
There you go.
Stop. Save some money.
Have a good week. We'll see you next Monday. Thank you for being here.